Really pleased with the way our guys prepared this week, and felt really good about coming into the game because of that. There was a purpose to the work this week, extremely purposeful, and they handled themselves like a team that had a vision of what they want to accomplish today, and they went out and they did it. You know, Scott Leffler will change that football team. They were undermanned today. They battled. They played as hard as they could, but certainly it was a situation where we were certainly a better football team, and they did everything that they could to manage the clock, hold on to the football. But our football team did what they needed to do today, and we got the win, and we're going to enjoy it for 24 hours, and then get ready for USC. So with that, we'll open up to questions.
Brian,
Yeah.
you told us earlier in the week you were going to challenge your guys, to focus on themselves perhaps more than the opponent. How do you feel like they performed on that metric versus just the opponent?
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job. I mean, it certainly there wasn't perfection out there today, but there was a level and a standard of play. Today went the way it should have went, and could have gone better, certainly. But given the fact that they played two very good opponents in the previous 2 weeks and had USC on the horizon, as I said, I thought that they prepared extremely well during the week, and then I thought they went out and were very businesslike in the manner that they played today.
Brian, 9 players with receptions today. When your offense is clicking the way it is that what you kind of expect, where 9 guys can have the opportunity to catch a ball in one game?
Yeah, I think there's enough talent there on the offensive side of the ball that if we're required to get those guys, touches, they're going to make plays for us. Getting McKinley involved was something that we wanted to get done today. You saw the rotation at the backfield. That was an important piece of what we wanted to get done today as well. So that was more of a focus. The rest of it just happened as part of the offense, and distribution of the football.
And it was your first shutout since 2014. When it kind of gets to the end of the game there, is that an emphasis that you want to finish off and get the shutout, or is it just, let's just win the game?
No, I think everybody on the defensive side of the ball is thinking in those terms. What they can do to get a shutout. But sometimes those things are out of your hands when you have some inexperienced players. I'm thinking about when we have the third group in there that we don't have a bad snap and it goes over our heads. But again, I think our defense played well enough to get a shutout. We were superior in terms of players today. We are not going to, run around the goog all weekend about the shutout. We've got it in perspective. We did some good things. There's no doubt. It's hard to get shutouts in college football, but we'll enjoy it for 24. And as I mentioned already, we'll get back to USC.
So, Coach, it seemed like your coaching staff allowed Ian Book to take more shots down the field, and obviously he performed very well doing that. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think we had some, traditional calls down the field. There were some things that, I thought that he saw the field, well today. I think there was probably one that, he probably would have liked back the interference or the lack of an interference call there. That ball should not have been thrown in that situation. But other than that, I thought he did a really nice job of seeing the field, putting the ball in a position where we could make some contested catches. So I liked the things he did today. Who wouldn't? But again, the competition's going to step up. USC will be a bigger challenge. 2 weeks later, Michigan will be another big challenge. But good things to work on that we saw today from Ian, that we can show him on film, that he got a chance to feel today, which is even bigger. And we'll build off of that. Great question, by the way. Are you a budding sports journalist? You have a bright future with the group that's normally in here. Just keep going.
That is a real tough act to follow. Coach, more on Ian. When he had the 5 touchdown passes in the first half, and then he had 1 drive in the second half, you moved the ball down the field running the ball, then it looked like maybe you were trying to get him his 6th touchdown pass, which would have tied the record? Was that a thought?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, in terms of, thinking about it, we weren't going to, throw it unless there were the right opportunities. But, they had 1 series. He knew he had 5. I told Chip, you got 1 series with him. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, no big deal, because it's tying the record. As I told him, tying the record is, If you're going to break the record, then maybe we'll do something about it. But so we weren't going out of a way to kind of get a tie here. I think if it would have been to try to break the record, I think we would have probably been a little bit more trying to get him a record.
Thank you.
Brian, you're right. On a day where you average nearly 10 yards per play and you get the shutout, you say there were things you could have done better. It sounds like there might be 1 or 2 things already in your mind in that respect.
Yeah. I mean, there's some things that we have to tighten up in coverage. Obviously we're going to play a elite, receivers next week. We can't do some of the things we did today. Our guys know that. We're going to have to tighten some things up. So wasn't particularly pleased with some of the things that happened today and some particular instances on 3rd down. So we'll clean those things up. But, we still bring a lot of pressure. We're still going to pressure the quarterback. That made up for it. But those things got to clean up a little bit. I'd say it probably focuses a little bit on that.
You've kind of walked right into what I wanted to ask second. Maybe they were just personnel moves, but Houston Griffith looked to make a switch, and Cam Hart flipped over to cornerback. Were those depth concerns or something you're seeing those guys individually?
We want to play Houston. We want to get him some playing time, and we think cross-training him at the safety position is going to afford him the opportunity to get some safety work, maybe some opportunities there in our nickel and dime package. So, moving him there gets him on the field a little bit quicker. And Cam has been moved over to defense. We want to look at him. We like his length at corner. He was a guy that played quite a bit of defense and when we recruited him. We're looking for some size at that position, and he certainly brings that. We evaluated him the last couple of weeks at the position during one-on-ones and some individual periods, and we really liked what we saw there. And right now we're gonna work him at the cornerback position.
Thanks.
Yep.
Coach, late there in the 4th quarter, you got to soft the ball, and he was pretty much stopped, and he had a pile of guys trailing behind him, and he was carrying them for some pretty good yards. What can you say about his desire when he gets this chance to play?
Yeah, Mick is, such a hard-working guy, loves Notre Dame, loves his role. I don't know that there's a guy on our team that wouldn't tell you that, from one of our walk-ons that he is not only a spark plug, but a great leader. And, he's physically strong. I mean, if you ask Coach Bayless, he would tell you he's as strong as any of the backs that we have. So, that was a great way to finish out the game. So just a tough, hard-nosed kid that we really appreciate and our players really appreciate.
Finish up with Mike.
Mike and Tyler? Oh, absolutely, Tyler. We're going to finish up with you. No doubt.
I'll go first then.
Tyler, please. Absolutely.
Javon McKinley had a big game today.
Yeah.
Had a big game against New Mexico as well.
Yeah.
What does he need to do to maybe have some of those bigger moments against tougher competition?
Wow, that's a tough question. Yeah, Tyler, very well done. Well, I think he needs probably opportunity. I think that I think in the Virginia game he got a couple of catches, certainly. Ian Book, really trusts him. They kind of grew up together on the scout team and have a great relationship. So I think there's a lot of trust there. And I would not be surprised to see him continue to grow into the offense. We started the game, I think, against Virginia with him on the field. So, Tyler, I think more than anything else, this is just you're seeing a guy really this is his first year of playing. I know he's been in the program a long time, but it's been one of those slow starts for a guy. And I really think that he is going to continue to ascend in the program.
What's Lawrence Key's status going forward for you?
We wanted to rest him. I think we could have played him plantar fasciitis. Maybe I can't articulate that word quite the way I should, but he was sore, and we wanted to cut back on his reps during the week, and we just felt like, let's get this kid healthy, and this was the right week to do that.
And then Jerkovic getting a chance to do some things.
Yeah.
What happened there at the goal line where he had to burn a timeout? And then is he tempting you at all with that running ability to maybe have a Jerkovic package for running?
Yeah, let's start a quarterback competition. I haven't had that. This is my first year that I haven't had it, so I don't know what to do. We had a mistake on a signaling issue. We had a signaling issue, and then he's supposed to look at the board, and we were dummy signaling, and he didn't look at the board. He looked at the dummy signaler. So you can see how this can really get away from you quickly when the backup quarterback comes in. So we have to take a timeout there. Do we see a package for him? Not really. I don't like to. I don't like to get into those kinds of packages unless they are really such a competitive advantage. And Phil is a really good player in those kinds of situations. I just haven't found it to be a competitive advantage at this time. Great, thank you.